Welcome back to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're diving into something really specific and quite profound, shared by one of you.
That's right. We've got session 98 from the Law of One.
Exactly. And for anyone maybe less familiar, this material comes from dialogues with, well, an entity named Ra, part of the group they call the Confederation. It gets into some deep stuff. Reality, consciousness, spiritual growth.
Deep is the word.
So our mission today is basically to walk through this session 98, question by question.
Yeah, unpacking it, looking for those key insights, those moments that might, resonate with you personally.
Let's jump in. Ready?
Let's do it. Session 98 ticks off like they usually do, checking on the instrument's condition.
Like the person channeling Ra. What did they say this time?
Well, there was a slight increase in the physical energy deficit.
Okay. A little bit lower physically.
Yeah, but interestingly, the vital energy distortions actually improved a bit.
So, a mixed bag.
Yeah.
But they always track this, don't they?
They do. And it really underlines, how sensitive this whole process is. The channel's balance is just crucial for the information's clarity.
It makes you think about your own state, doesn't it, before you do anything important?
Absolutely. Your own energetic baseline matters.
Okay, so question 2. They skipped the meditation beforehand this time.
They did. And Ra's explanation is quite insightful.
What was the reasoning?
Ra says the whole point of preparation, like meditation, is purification for everyone involved in the working.
Makes sense. So, what happens if you remove it?
Well, Ra clarifies that the value of removing it really depends on how much purity the participants already have, independent of that specific practice.
Ah, so it's not the ritual itself that's magic. It's about the inner state.
Pretty much. It suggests that as you cultivate your own clarity, your reliance on certain external aids might naturally change.
So, the practices we use aren't fixed. Their value shifts with us.
Exactly. It's dynamic. It's about the intention purification and recognizing how your own growth affects what supports you need.
It kind of invites you to look at your own routines, doesn't it? How much is the practice? How much is, well, you?
Great question for reflection.
Then question 3 gets into this fifth density negative entity.
Right. Being from a higher level of existence, but with a service to self-orientation in the Law of One framework.
And the question was linking this entity to the instrument's allergic reactions during meditation. Like, did meditation open a door?
Sort of. Ra clarifies that this entity tries to greet the instrument very close to the actual working time.
Okay.
So skipping the meditation didn't stop the greeting, it just shifted when it happened.
What did it happen then?
Right at the moment they decided not to meditate.
Wow. And did this greeting take long?
Ra says it takes a negligible amount of our time, almost instantaneous.
That's fascinating. This persistent interaction happening outside our usual sense of time.
It really suggests an ongoing energetic dynamic adapting to the situation. It might make you wonder about unseen influences in your own life, right?
Definitely. Which leads straight into question 4. Was the greeting just as effective without the meditation?
And Ra's answer is just yes. Very direct.
Wow. Okay, so the entity could connect anyway.
Seems like it. It implies that these energetic connections, positive or negative, might find ways through regardless of our specific preparations.
So maybe it's less about specific rituals for protection and more about cultivating a consistent inner state.
That's a strong implication, I think. Inner harmony, resilience, maybe being more fundamental than just the external routines. What does that bring up for you?
It's a lot to think about.
Okay.
Question 5 is a big one, very detailed, from the instrument herself.
Yeah, she's asking why this fifth density companion can keep making contact, mentioning the throat issues, dizziness, even smelling orange blossoms, stepping on imaginary things.
All sorts of phenomena. And how to lessen it all.
Right, and Ross starts carefully, mentioning the law of confusion, respecting free will.
But they answer anyway.
They do, because of the instrument's continued service. Ray explains this fifth density working has been quite strong, affecting her energy biases.
And impacted the communication, too. The Blu-ray difficulties.
Yes. Ray says those difficulties actually, kind of paradoxically, show how effective the negative working is.
That's complex.
Yeah.
And the potential impact sounds serious.
Very. Ray mentions it could interfere with exercise, music, social interaction through that throat and mouth blockage, and even potentially risk the contact itself.
So it's a multi-pronged attack almost.
Seems like it. Aimed at disrupting her well-being and her ability to channel clearly, it shows the challenges involved.
Ray connects her allergies to this.
Yes, suggesting the allergies provide a sort of continuous opening for the distortion to persist.
So healing the throat issue is key to stopping the working, but
Yeah.
the allergies complicate that.
Exactly. It's a cycle.
What about the orange blossom scent? That sounds positive.
It is. Raw links that to a positive fifth density group, Latwe, who were there at the instrument's request. She perceived them because she was particularly sensitive at that time.
So positive and negative influence is happening almost simultaneously.
Apparently so. And the feeling of stepping on imaginary creatures, that was a specific greeting from the negative entity, again, possible due to her heightened sensitivity.
Wow. Sensitivity cuts both ways then, allows connection but also vulnerability.
Seems that way. It really makes you think about discerning the energies around you, doesn't it?
Definitely. So what does Ross suggest she do about all this?
They give immediate and longer term advice. Immediately, maybe harsh chemicals like steroids for the throat, but acknowledging the downsides and the persistent
A
allergies.
tough choice.
Yeah. And they mention someone named Jerome who might have a different, maybe helpful perspective on allergies compared to standard medicine.
Interesting. And longer term.
Consulting a specific healer, codenamed Prayer Wheel, for 10 treatments, plus really strictly managing allergies, especially food.
So a combination of approaches, medical, alternative, lifestyle.
Pretty comprehensive. And they also linked the issues during walks to breathing harder and just being exposed to more allergens outdoors.
It's such an intricate picture they paint.
Truly multi-layered.
Okay, let's shift gears. Question 98.6 moves to Gandalf the cat.
Ah, yes, the beloved animal companion. There was a growth near his spine.
And the question was about the surgical risk compared to a previous one, and if things like visualization could help.
Ra reassures them, saying the risk isn't greater than before. And importantly, yes, visualization of light and using ritual phrases will help Gandalf's recovery.
That's lovely, affirming energetic help even for animals.
It is. Ra acknowledges Gandalf is old, anesthesia is risky, but his will to recover is strong.
Driven by connections, wanting to be with loved ones.
Exactly. His mental, emotional, spiritual distortions, as Ra puts it. And then Ra drops this line, keep in mind that this entity is harvestable third density.
Right. Which leads directly to the next question, 98.7. What does that mean? Harvestable third density for a cat.
Rock explains it clarifies why they sometimes use the term spirit complex for a second density being like Gandalf.
Okay, so it implies something about his level of development.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
That he has a greater capacity or inclination to stick around, to heal, specifically because of those strong bonds with his loved ones. He's operating closer to third density lessons of love and awareness.
That's quite profound, thinking about animal consciousness that way. Did Ra have specific advice for the surgery itself?
No. Question 98.7 asked, and Ra said no other specific recommendations.
And 98.8, just double check that. Any other recommendations?
And Ra again just said no.
Okay. Then 98.9 brings up the cause of Gandalf's growths. Was it anger about new cats being introduced?
Ra confirms that yes, the original cause, the initial distortion leading to cancer, was that event.
But the current growth.
That, Ra says, is proximately caused by the nature of cancer itself, the distorted cells already present.
Ah, distinguishing the trigger from the ongoing condition.
Exactly. It really points to that mind-body connection, doesn't it? Emotions having a physical impact, even long-term, and even in animals.
It resonates with a lot of holistic thinking. So, are there other growths? Question 98.9.
Brett confirms yes.
And can those be helped? Where are they? That's 98.1N.
Ra states that at this particular point, none of the other growths can be alleviated.
Oh, that's sad. Where did they say they were located?
At the right hip joint, a tiny one near the liver, and small distortions under both front legs or arms.
So, what can be done non-surgically? Question 98.1 head asks that.
Ra recommends continuing with praise and thanksgiving, basically holding Gandalf in love and light and asking for the removal of the distortions.
And what are the possible outcomes of doing that?
2 paths, Ra says. One is contentment, peace, until the body can no longer sustain life due to the cancer.
Okay.
The other is that a life path might open up that does allow for healing. But Ra notes it's quite common for beings to use such conditions as a way to transition out of the physical body.
A compassionate view on illness and transition, really. Holding space for healing, but also for graceful departure.
And respecting free will, not predicting the specific path.
Question 98.13 is quick. Does the other cat, Fairchild, have similar issues?
Ra's answer, not at this space-time nexus, so no, not currently.
Then 98.14 circles back. Did Gandalf have to be harvestable third density for his anger to cause cancer?
And the answer is a clear no.
Which leads right into 98.15. Can any mind-body complex get cancer from anger?
Ras confirms this is correct.
Wow, that's a universal principle then. Anger's potential physical impact isn't limited by species or density.
A really significant point about the emotion health link. And right after that, Ra makes an observation.
Oh yeah, about what?
A coincidence. The instrument's throat congestion, the allergy thing, was getting bad, likely needing to end the session soon. And at the same time, the tape recorder made an audible click or sound. So Ra, very considerately, offers to end future sessions soon after hearing that sound, just to minimize the instrument's discomfort until that whole fifth density working allergy thing gets resolved.
Always attentive to the instrument's well-being.
Very much so.
Okay, nearly there. Question 98.16 is about a new table for the session setup. Is it okay? Natural wood or coated?
Ra's description is beautiful, actually. Says the table sings with joy.
Things with joy. A table.
Yeah. The pine vibrates in praise. Notes a lot of positive energy went into making it, so yes, very acceptable.
That's amazing. Consciousness and everything. What about coating it?
They suggest leaving it natural or maybe rubbing it with linseed oil.
Linseed oil? Why that?
Because Ra says the oil gets easily magnetized and holds onto vibrations really profoundly.
Enhancing the table's positive energy. Cool.
Yeah, it shows how materials can hold energy.
So 98.17 asks if they should end then, because the recorder clicked.
Ra leaves it to their judgment, saying the instrument is still open, but yeah, the physical issues are increasing.
And the final question, 98.18, just asks if there's anything else to improve the contact or comfort.
Ra reassures them. All is well. We find your concerns appropriate. Very gentle.
And then the closing.
The standard, beautiful closing. Farewell in the love and light of the one infinite creator. Go forth rejoicing in power and peace. Adonai.
Wow, what a session. So much packed in there.
Absolutely. As we wrap up this deep dive into session 98, some key things really stand out, don't they?
Definitely. Like that constant interplay of negative and positive energies, the whole fifth density greeting situation.
And the nature of healing, physical, sure, but also energetic, emotional, like with Gandalf.
And a huge point about emotions, specifically anger and its link to physical illness like cancer. And Ross saying that applies to any mind-body complex.
That's a big takeaway. Plus, the perspective on consciousness, seeing Gandalf as harvestable third density, suggesting depth in animal awareness.
It really expands your view. We hope walking through this has given you, our listeners, some aha moments, or at least some interesting things to mull over.
Yeah. Food for thought. Maybe it prompts you to reflect on the energies in your own life, or that connection between how you feel emotionally and how you feel physically.
Or just that sense of connection with all life, even our animal friends.
So, perhaps a final thought to leave you with. How might recognizing these subtle energetic influences and the power of your own emotional state change how you navigate your day-to-day life?
Something to ponder. Go forth, therefore, with a deeper appreciation for the intricate tapestry of existence.
Yeah.
I'm you and you are me.